Hello, today I'm going to be talking about cash and why it's important for social inclusion. Um, a few terms I'll be using are ATM or automatic teller machine, cash point, broadband internet, touchless. I'll refer to the organization AGE UK and also to the USO or Universal Service Obligation. And now I'll begin. We often hear that cash will soon be a thing of the past. Increasingly, when we go to shops or restaurants, we pay with a debit card or a credit card. Often, we don't even have to insert the card into the machine and enter a code. Many cards work using touchless technology now. It's even possible to pay without a card by using your smartphone and a banking app. In some places, it's even more difficult to pay with cash than with a card. Fewer and fewer vending machines, for example, seem to accept coins. And some shops actually prefer that people pay electronically rather than with cash. So this must be progress. No more having to worry about whether you've got enough cash with you. No more searching for a cash point in a strange city. No more waiting endlessly behind someone who wants to pay with exact change and is counting out all the coins in their purse. And think about it. When was the last time you used cash to pay for anything? I know for me, it's very infrequent. But the fact is that while some of us may feel that we hardly ever use cash anymore, more of it is in circulation today than ever before. Now, cash by its very nature is hard to keep tabs on. But just in the United States, the amount of cash in circulation between 2007 and 2014 rose by 42%. And globally, the volume of cash is thought to increase by 7% a year. And people are continuing to use it. A study of payment habits that looked at the United States, Canada, Australia, as well as Austria, France, Germany, and the Netherlands, found that in 2012, between 50 and 82% of transactions were conducted in cash. Now, that's a few years ago, so things might have changed. But even in the countries that are leading the way towards a cashless society, such as Sweden and Denmark, shops are still required by law to accept cash. Now, the reasons cash remains so popular are partly practical and partly emotional. Now, as we've said, cash is easy to carry, it's straightforward to use. It's accepted very widely. Cash is also anonymous. A cash transaction can't be traced to the buyer or the seller. Now, this may conjure up images of drug dealers carrying around suitcases filled with bundles of $100 bills. But honest people and legitimate businesses also use cash, where it's more convenient, for example, for small purchases. Small businesses, in fact, may prefer to take cash to avoid the costs associated with having card readers. And market traders often accept only cold, hard cash. Cash is also widely accepted and can prove to be a very useful fallback during a power outage or if electronic payment systems break down for any reason. So until we have an electronic means of payment that's 100% reliable, cash is here to stay. But cash also has a psychological or emotional value. Cash in hand is somehow more real to many people than a number on a screen. And for this reason, using cash may also help consumers to keep control over their spending. Studies have shown that more friction is involved in spending cash than in using a credit card or making an electronic payment. There's a certain amount of psychological pain associated with parting with our money. And when we pay cash, we feel this pain immediately. With a credit card, the pain is postponed until the bill arrives. And this creates a disconnect between the pleasure of buying and the agony of paying, and makes it easier to spend more. Interestingly, people also tend to spend more when they're using foreign currency. Maybe it seems less real than the currency of their home country. But now I come to my main point: electronic payments and social exclusion, and why cash is important for social inclusion. Cash and access to cash is essential for groups of people who cannot or don't want to use digital means of payment. The European Union has a very high rate of internet and smartphone use. Nonetheless, while 85% of Europeans have a smartphone, that still leaves 15% who don't. And this 15% includes many older people and people with disabilities, in particular learning disabilities. Seniors, that is, people over 75, in many cases have never used the internet. 87% don't use the internet, in fact. They may have impaired eyesight, or they may have difficulties using touch screens because their hands are unsteady, or because of changes to their skin due to aging, or they may simply feel unable or unwilling to adapt to using the internet, including to make payments. People with disabilities, especially those with learning disabilities, may also struggle to use computers, smartphones, or electronic forms of payment, and these groups continue to rely on cash. This becomes a problem if cash is not readily accessible. Age UK, which is a charity that defends the interests of older people in the United Kingdom, conducted a survey in 2020 that revealed that people over the age of 65 in the UK relied on cash for almost all their day-to-day payments. That is, about 1 in 5 of these people over 65. In some countries, however, the UK in particular, access to cash is becoming more difficult. Bank branches are closing, and cash points, or ATMs, are disappearing. Between 2017 and 2020, 25% of the UK's cash points disappeared. This lack of access to cash poses a risk of financial abuse, because people who can't access cash for themselves are forced to rely on others, either to withdraw cash for them or to do their shopping. And older people and others without easy access to banking services can therefore become excluded from economic life. Age UK has therefore called for government legislation to guarantee that a cash machine or a bank branch remains within reasonable traveling distance of every home in the United Kingdom. The organization stresses that the cash system is an essential piece of infrastructure, just like the networks for electricity, water, postal services, and the internet. These essential services are already covered by USOs, or Universal Service Obligations, and Age UK is calling on the government to introduce a USO for cash. In conclusion, cash is not just a tangible, convenient, reliable way to pay for goods and services. For many people, it's essential to their participation in economic and social life. Maintaining access to cash and acceptance of cash is therefore a matter of social justice. Thank you.